Transcend is our flagship interview guidance program. To improve your chances in personality test, enroll in our Transcend program and get personalized attention. Link to enroll for the program is in the description below.
So, can I say that you're inspired by Mahatma Gandhi?
Yes, sir.
All right. So, what is the best thing that you like about him?
The best thing is I'm amazed by the way he thought that through non-violence and peace that we could achieve such a gargantuan task of throwing British away from India. That is something that I even wonder now, that how could he think of such a move? How could he think of such a process?
Yeah, and when we compare the situation today with mob violence, at the drop of a hat, just if somebody is moving with cattle, those people are getting lynched and killed, and Gandhiji achieved independence through non-violence. Do you think now India has failed Gandhi? Do you agree with this?
Sir, I do not agree with it because India is very large. There are some incidents of mob violence and these sorts of things are happening, antisocial things are happening.
I think more than 200 people have died in the last couple of years owing to mob violence and all these sorts of issues, lynching and whatever, intolerance related deaths.
Yes, sir, I agree that there have been deaths, but there are many more Indians who are condemning that and who are protesting against that happening. Irrespective of the community to which they belong, they are opposing such moves. They are saying that in a democracy, mob justice is not accepted. So, when as long as such voices are alive, I do not think that we can say that India as a whole has failed Gandhi.
Practically speaking, forget about the the cosmetics of things. Practically speaking, is Gandhi still relevant? Do we need Mahatma Gandhi?
Sir, he is relevant, but it depends on which context we are talking about. So, if we take this non-violence as a tool to get the things done for the people as the measure, it is relevant even in cases where the government has some legitimacy. It wants to score some legitimacy at the national and international arena. For example, we can cite the India Against Corruption movement led by Anna Hazare. It was a non-violent movement, but because the legitimacy of the government was at stake at that point of time, they had to budge and they had to take the inputs of the organizers of that movement. So, say in an authoritarian government which is not very much worried about continuing legitimacy, in such case they may not budge to those non-violent movements, and they might actually repress it with much more violence.
Is the present government authoritarian?
Sir, I don't think it is authoritarian because the constitution, the system is democratic. So the government is for 5 years. There could be some tendencies because of the majority that it has got in the legislature. However, I believe that the system as a whole keeps everybody in check.
But it
because
is
there
the
enough checks
same constitutional system which led to the rise of Hitler and fascists like Mussolini. They also had a constitutional system which then led to its collapse. So, are we not on the same track?
So it all depends upon how we balance those tendencies. If there are such tendencies emerging some part of society, then how do we balance it? Because I believe that there are enough checks and balances, say it in judiciary, be it in the enlightened civil society that we have today, that is opposing even the mildest of such trends.
But if there is any dissent, people are being charged with sedition, if anti-CAA thing. Even young people, young students, they are being charged with sedition, and all sorts of dissent is being, it is brutally being tackled with. So,
yes, sir.
How is it really making a difference?
Sir, I will again say that these are some incidents that have happened. It is not that it is everywhere that is the case, because it is sedition. The police comes under state list, and in some states it is happening. It is not the case in all the states. Number one, and also that we have judiciary. So judiciary has time and again has limited the scope of application of sedition, and it has always read down this provision of in the constitution.
Talking about judiciary, just yesterday in the newspaper there was this comment made by a senior judge, I think a group of judges, who said that judiciary should be more proactive when it comes to riot cases.
Sir.
Do you feel so judiciary should be more proactive? Because the state has completely failed, and just a few days back another senior judge of the Supreme Court had lambasted the Delhi police, saying that it was totally unprofessional when it came to Delhi riots. the this way in which the police handled or not handled the riots. So do you agree that the judiciary should be proactive when it comes to communal or riots cases?
Sir, I believe that judiciary should be proactive because lives are at stake, and it is likely that the government will have some compulsions. It may or may not act. In such cases, judiciary can be the last recourse. And secondly, police may be waiting for some orders from higher ups. And in which case they did not get from the government, or that is from the political authorities. Judiciary can also give such directions to the police to act immediately. So
do you agree with the behavior of Hyderabad police, the fake encounter which happened? Do you agree that police should be more, just to improve their image, they should be doing such fake encounters probably? And they were rapists here. I mean, so should police be to improve their image do such things?
Sir, as the matter stands now, it is an alleged case of encounter. Though whether it is fake or not is yet to be adjudged. It is under National Human Rights Commission and the judiciary as well. So I cannot completely assume that to be a fake encounter.
What is the meaning of the word violence? We talked about Gandhi and non-violence. What do you understand by the term violence?
Violence is causing harm to someone physically or mentally, psychologically. So it may be visible or may not be visible, but still it forms violence.
Basically, it is a negative tendency to cause harm.
Yes, sir.
Do you feel humans by nature they are violent?
To some extent, I agree with that statement, sir.
So how do we? Is there any scope of moving away from this inherent violence that humans have, or do we need? I mean, state in that case would be an instrument to control this inherent violence in humans, right?
Yes, sir.
So, is there any chance of removing this violence and probably then having no state at all, no need of state?
Sir, when I said there is some inherent nature of violence, I meant for sustaining itself, we depend on nature. We cut trees, we eat livestock. So that is also a form of violence. That is what I meant. But when we consider the violence against other people, a state is considered as a mechanism to undo that violent tendencies in the humans. But however, I believe that is a utopia to assume that there is no need for state and people will be non-violent in all cases, because it is very difficult to control human behavior, and we can only rely on human behavior in case there is no state or authority.
Chanakya,
Sir.
right? He is said to be Indian Machiavelli.
Yes, sir.
Or is it the right way to describe Chanakya?
I do not think so, sir, because Chanakya was much ahead in time and space compared to Machiavelli. Machiavelli is a medieval scholar.
So Machiavelli we should say as
Italian Chanakya.
So do you agree with Chanakya's way of managing the state? Machiavelli is a term which is unprincipled, unethical.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes,
on those negative lines I'm saying. Do you agree with Chanakya's assessment of the management of the state?
Sir, the fundamental tenet of Chanakya's principles is monarchy. So as a person who was born and brought up in democracy, I cannot accept and I cannot even think of being in a monarchy or authoritarian regime. And secondly, he considers a paternalistic state, where state knows what is good of the people. While he talks about welfare of the people as objective of king, he assumes that state knows everything what is good for the people, which need not be the case. And here we are in the liberal era where we are talking about liberties and freedoms and rights of individuals. So therefore, I do not agree with that particular view of his.
You don't agree.
Thank you for watching the video. Civils Daily provides complete UPSC guidance with multiple GS courses, test series, and personalized mentorship. Please fill the Samanvay form linked below to experience our one-to-one mentorship. Thank you.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update from Civils Daily.